Henry joins us with her own firm LH Consulting, and your specialism and the area that people ask you to help them with from around the world is in early years education. Early years for you is not just from kindergarten, age 3 or 4, it's much earlier than that. Tell me what kinds of challenge you've been helping people here with.
I think it's, focusing on every child is an individual. So I think you was correct in what you were saying. It doesn't start from 3 and we've got this gigantic child at age 3. It starts before that, from birth. So children are developing and learning all the time. So what I spoke about in my seminar was about recognising that every child is an individual and how actually teachers are able to support children to be the best that they can be, whether or not they're 1, 2 or 3.
And in a world which just seems full of very crowded curricula, even for tiny tots, how does a teacher actually go about creating that space, that almost that individual space to let every student thrive and find their passions, work out where they can improve? What kind of pragmatic thing might a teacher do next week to start that journey more effectively?
Interesting question. I believe it should be starting with the child. So wherever you are in the world, a 2-year-old is going to be a 2-year-old. So it's about finding out what are the passions and the interest of that child. 3 main areas for me to focus on for teachers working with very young children. That's children's physical development in terms of how they can move, because that's going to help them with their literacy. Children's personal, social and emotional development, because children need how they're able to connect with their peer group, how they connect with teachers, and more importantly, children's communication and language skills. So the classroom environment should be set up in order to tease that out of the child. So therefore, every single child is able to be curious, to be able to ask questions, to tap into their creativity and their critical thinking within that.
So it sounds like there's actually something with the physical environment teachers can do straight away.
Absolutely, and I think it's not about buying fancy equipment. Actually, the teachers are a resource themselves, because you can have all the gear and no idea. It's about understanding how children learn and develop, and also to scaffold. And there's a theorist called Jerome Bruner, and he talks about scaffolding children's learning to a next level. So teachers being aware how far they're able to stretch children to their full potential, but work with children in a sensitive way.
What's fascinating is we've just been talking to Professor Stephen Heppel about how you nurture curiosity in high school students, and it's almost identical.
It is, and actually I was fortunate to listen to Stephen this morning, and I was virtually high-fiving him, agreeing with everything that he said. And I think one of the things that Stephen was talking about that I believe in was about the voice of the child. And it's about then allowing children to have the voice, because actually children are creators. Children have been born, and I think the way that we live now in society, actually we've stopped children from being independent and creative learners by the way that the curriculum has designed. And I think almost we need to go back to basics and to say, well, actually, what can we learn from children as teachers?
And you've had a couple of days here at GESS 2016, and you've been meeting with lots of local educators, both in international schools and maybe in some state schools as well. What are the special kind of unique challenges or needs that people have here that are maybe slightly different from what we're used to in the UK or elsewhere in Europe?
I think it's myself as an international early years consultant, I believe that every country is unique, and I think we have to be mindful of cultural differences, and every teacher does the best to their ability. And I see myself as the seminar that I did, it's not saying you have to do this, it's about saying, okay, these are top tips that I'm giving with regards to early years education. How does it fit in to what you're currently doing, irrespective to what country you live and work in?
And how has this event, GESS 2016, benefited you? What has been your highlight from the last couple of days?
I think I've had an amazing time. I haven't stopped. I've had so many conversations with the exhibitors, with the visitors, whether or not they're teachers, head teachers, governors, looking at their range of equipment. There's so much equipment here, you know, you could literally kit out a school and a nursery. So much interesting stuff. You know, I think the exhibitors have really done themselves well in terms of what they've produced to show to the visitors here over the last 3 days.
Thank you very much for your time. Laura is one of hundreds of inspiring educators who you can meet here at GESS 2016.